Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I really appreciate the opportunity of you coming in, letting me come into your classroom to meet with you today. Okay, so let's start with the structure of the lesson first. How do you think it went?
The lesson went pretty well. The big problem issue that we face with that class is even with inclusion teacher, my co-teacher, it's difficult to get all the students on board. It took a lot of planning just to get the students into heterogeneous groups, which my co-teacher, Mr. Bell, who has more experience with language learners and special ed, took care of. But I think we did a decent job. We still saw some of the students shut down, which we tried to remedy by visiting them individually. But in all, compared with their behavior in previous group activities and previous class discussion and previous independent study, I think a higher percentage of them worked in this setting than usual. So as far as comparing it against previous attempts to do group work and things like that, we did pretty well.
I think your project-based learning activity was great. First, your classroom management techniques I thought were terrific. You had everything ready for the students. You were very well prepared with the lesson. You had all the handouts ready. You had the groups pre-selected. They were in their groups, like you said. The groups were mixed: high-level learners, low-level learners, special ed, ELL. I thought that was terrific. The packets, I loved how you divided it per section. Section 1, this is what you have to get done per day. Section 2, I thought that was terrific.
One thing we've learned about that group is they, as part of, Spectrum and as part of some of their IEPs, anything that's not anticipated is going to interrupt and be an obstacle to learning. So as much as we can try to structure as much as possible.
Structure is very, very important. So the classroom management I thought was great. Like I said, the packets were put together very well. All the students had their packets. The other part that really reflected upon your positive and effectiveness for mental engagement, all the students were very, I thought, mentally engaged. So just some of the evidence, some of the stuff that I observed as I was walking around, which goes back to the project-based learning, but really the students' mental engagement. There were some students on their Chromebooks Googling pictures to represent their thematic statement. Then you had, other students that were completing section 1, thought questions. There were other students trying to come up with group names, and they were working collaboratively to do so. They were also, they were identifying where in the room that they wanted their different posters. Some students, were Googling specific images that they thought would represent it. So I really felt that it was meeting each child's individual learning style. Because some obviously, it seemed like more of the ELL students and the special ed students were doing more of like the Googling of the images of what the thematic statement could represent, or maybe they were the ones like drawing and sketching out what the poster could look like or picking where, and then maybe some of the higher level students were really kind of, being like the leaders where, okay, what's your group role going to be, what's mine going to be, and doing more of the writing. But everyone was, I thought, was very equally engaged.
It's part of the, again, just differentiated instruction, in this case based on kind of multiple intelligences theory, body kinesthetic, autistic, performance-based, kids are moving around. And I also had, those sort of other tasks like come up with a group name or, describe the obstacles the group is facing for the kids who I knew was going to, faced with a group activity or project-based learning who are not engaged usually, they can still be in the group and still contribute. And kind of like come out of that, it takes a while, they'll shut down immediately. And sometimes it takes a little bit of positive reinforcement. You're doing well, you're doing well, you're doing well. And then, the next day, those kids that were kind of withdrawn and just working on their own little corner were more interested in engaging because they felt like they were actually contributing. This is a necessary part of the project. And
it's very interesting that you say that because I actually picked up on that. One group seemed to be more like introverted at first. They kind of really weren't working. It was group 5. They really weren't kind of working together a lot. But then, you kept walking around to the different groups, and you got to each group about 2 or 3 times. And when you got to that group and you walked over and you started helping them, then it was almost like they came out of their shell a little bit. Because I actually wrote, like the one student said when they were discussing it, he actually said to his friend, he was talking about corruption and what it can mean, this and that, he actually said to his friend, he was like, well, maybe we could write a rap poem about it.
Yeah.
And then he started like kind of like doing a sketch of the poster and then trying to like write a couple like rap lyrics to his own poem. So they really, I mean,
Like that was a corner of my eye. Yeah,
definitely.
he was like, yeah, I can do that.
He did, and I felt like that group then kind of really came around. So that was one of the ELL winners, and then the other ELL winner was the one Googling images of overcoming obstacles.
We talked about the one student who will do he's been absent from this year, yeah, I think 24 times in just the first quarter of the year. He's got 24 absences.
Yes.
So the fact that first of all, the fact that he's in class is amazing. And second, that he's interacting in any meaningful way is really cool.
So I thought, like I said, the mental engagement I thought was amazing. The other thing, so all the students I felt like were engaged, even the ones that were introverted, I felt they really came around. The other thing that I felt was also very good was the positive classroom environment that you created with the dynamics of the class. You know, there was certain things that you actually said, a bunch of different things, but here's one example. You know, you actually said to one group, what theme did you choose? And the students group theme, you know, they had chosen beauty. And you said, I'm ridiculously surprised how you guys came up with such a great idea of hanging this poster right in front of the window with the light shining through it. And then you went on to address the class and to say, it is fantastic that all 10 different groups between both of that grade classes picked all different locations. And I really feel like when you create that positive classroom environment, that allows students to take more risks and to feel more comfortable and to work more productively. So it was a lot more creative, a lot more, I felt like risk-taking, a lot more students on task.
Sure. And a lot of that, you know, you plan for that, right? You want to plan positivity, but like in an instance like that, I couldn't plan for that. That was a natural.
That's what you wanted.
Well, no, it was just there could have been a battle. First period picked this corner, sixth period wants this corner, and there could have been a battle. But I was genuinely surprised, and I thought it was really interesting that they all picked parts of the room to look at. So that wasn't like a planned, canned response. And good job. You know, what you do, you intersperse those positive moments that motivates them. But there are times when, especially a class like sixth period, which has been difficult in many instances, for me as an educator, as a first-time special ed educator, first-time co-teacher, where you want to bang your head against the wall. And then there's other times where it's these aha moments. So I can't contain my positivity and surprise. And that was a moment where I realized, wow, every group picked a different place. I didn't push any of those kids to pick anything. That group walked over the window and decided.
And what I also liked within creating that positive classroom environment was that you actually somehow also related it to the thematic statement and helped to elaborate and clarify for what it could mean based on the location, maybe without them even knowing. So I thought that was really great. And you had a lot of moments like that with the positive classroom environment. You know, there was another time I thought it was hysterical. It was so great, where one of the groups came up with their name, and they said, he said, did you come up with your name? And the student said, yes, we're the Jerks, G-E-R-C-S.
I think about it.
And you know, and the students started laughing. They said, we're the G-E-R-C-S, we're the Jerks because it's all the initials of their names. And that just showed even their you know, them being able to come forward with it. So I thought that was fabulous as well. And there, like I said, there were a lot of moments like that happened throughout the lesson.
One of the other groups picked the flying unicorns, and the day they picked the group, one of the group members wasn't there, and that particular group member was also an attendance problem, behavioral problem. So when that person came back the next day, and I was kind of worried that when he said, what group name did you pick? And we were like, flying unicorns. And he started laughing. Like, oh, this could be really bad. He doesn't want to do the flying unicorns. But it worked.
That's great. That's great. You know, you continue to really uplift the students when you say things, you're always complimenting them, or you said, like, in one of the groups, you said, like, you can use this tinkle to really reflect upon the light, and they were very into it. So I feel like the strengths of the lesson, definitely very, very positive classroom environment. Absolutely, the students were all effectively mentally engaged. I thought those were great. So just a couple other things real quick. What did you feel about the learning objective? What did you think about the learning objective?
Learning objective eventually is going to be, a better understanding of the more intricate and complex understanding of the which co-teacher and I, along with a resource that the school has brought in, we've been meeting, we're sort of piloting this type of program and how this would work with other classes in the future. So we identified that in the Engage New York ELA 9 module, which has some really interesting, very abstract texts that they picked. And they also offer examples of themes, but they're, again, just like the texts are too abstract, I feel like the themes are too abstract. So I wanted to kind of stop and not go any further into the text and let's just focus on going deeper into just what a theme is. Let's follow that into the rabbit hole and excavate all that. And then also, it's kind of a directive with the buildings to build these word walls. So as part of that, the students are going to be building word walls instead of me just posting things. So it'll be more, the objective will be to kill kind of two birds with one stone. Beautify the classroom, feel like they have some ownership over the classroom because it's their effort they're seeing all over the place. And then eventually the enduring understanding is that we look at themes because they are things that relate to themes across time and history, ethnicity, gender, experience, that all of us experience obstacles, all of us have conflict, all of us, have subjective views of food. So really, I think
Definitely. So I love the idea of having the students actually create a poster to represent a thematic statement because, being able to create something that's going to show you that they can fully understand it. One piece of advice and suggestion would be when you say to come up with a better understanding of theme. The only thing for students is that sometimes it's hard to assess or measure understanding. So it could be possible if you just tweak the theme a little, keep the theme the same, but just tweak it a little, or you can do something like students will be able to analyze their thematic statements in their groups through creative posters utilizing project-based learning.
Sure. The identified issue there was, I know all teachers, so you asked, what is the theme of this poem? Love. Love isn't a theme, love is a concept. How do we expand? So maybe in the future I could take, instead of giving them fully formed sentences, I could give them a concept and elaborate a theme from just that concept. So friendship, just give them a word, and they have to come up with a thematic statement using that concept, which I think you're right would help, would assist in what we're trying to do.
So then one other piece of advice is, like I said, the students I thought were very, very, very actively engaged. They were all mentally engaged. But I noticed just that sometimes some of the students struggled a little bit with some of the words within the thematic statement. Just a little bit. Like one girl kept she was really stuck on the word subjective, being subjective and completely neither told her. And you did go over and you helped her a lot, and then she was able to actually understand what beholder meant. She was like, oh, beholder means you. And he's like, us.
Sure.
And then she was able to, kind of pick up on it. And one of the other groups kind of struggled with the word corrupts or corrodes a little bit, and vanity. So they were able to use their Chromebooks and Google it. Just like one possible strategy that you could do that may help is when you give them these thematic statements, you had them all up first and they picked which one they wanted. Maybe from the thematic statements, if you had like a vocab list that just defines some of the difficult words within the thematic statement, or if you provide them, like for the first one, the spirit of mankind shines brightest in our darkest hours. It often takes the bleakest circumstances to draw out the best human beings have to offer. Maybe, you have like a whole vocab first and like the word bleakest is identified. So then they could change that synonym. Or maybe they could when they first get into their groups, they could try to rewrite the sentence, the thematic statement themselves in their own words.
No, I agree, and I would definitely, if I redid this, what I think I was trying to do there was just kind of blend two skills together when we should have been focusing on just the analysis of theme. I was trying to get them to innovate, right, which is something that the school has been focusing on. So in my head, best case scenario, like lemmings, right? They would immediately see that and follow those words and get the phone books and pull up their cell phones. With sixth period, the period you observed, that's a little bit more of that's a skill we're still working on. But if you would have came in the first period, that you would have seen that exact thing. So in terms of differentiating instruction, if I would do this again, you're right, I would probably demystify and not have them worry about the vocabulary as much, and just give them the rules. So yeah, or like you said, give them some kind of word bank, or tell them first, take an entire 42-minute day and just break down those words. But I think that would be kind of extra. I think that would be, I would probably just break things down. Yeah, I did pick some pretty upper echelon.
They were definitely high level. But
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, through context, a lot of the students, they had means of figuring it out.
Sure.
Like a lot of them, they, like that girl specifically, she kept Googling the word and trying to figure it out and Googling images of it. So it was great that they were trying to figure out it in context.
But you're right. I mean, in terms of the skill I'm trying to get them to do, that might have been just a little bit more than was necessary. You're right. I think it detracted a little bit from. It's more time, first of all, which we don't have. So yeah, I would definitely do that.
But like I said, overall, the students were very, very involved. I think that just a possible next step to maybe try to do either for like the next lesson or when you're teaching like other thematic statements, just try to break down the words, make sure they get the words or replacing with synonyms, and then have them try to represent it onto your poster. Because that's hard within itself, trying to visual representation of a thematic statement. So I think that would definitely help. But all in all, I thought the lesson was great. I really, really love how you get all the students actively involved. And I love the rapport that you have with the students and how they really feel comfortable within that culture. And your preparations for the class, I thought were excellent as well. You're very, very prepared. You're very organized. The students were on task the entire time. So I thought all of that was great. Do you have anything else that you would like to add, or any suggestions, or any other concerns about the ELL students or special ed?
Again, this is a process for me. I was hired 2 years ago, and really, what I felt was for ELA, Common Core, Regions prep. So this last year, I was asked to do inclusion, and the training I felt hasn't really been there, and so since then, about 2 weeks ago, like I said, we had an outside group has sent a gentleman who's observed, and we've met with him twice, myself and co-teacher, and so now we're getting strategies. So now it's this kind of, we're building the plane as we're flying it. So these activities are fun and project-based, but I also want to make sure that they're effective. So next Tuesday or Wednesday when they're completed, you want to come back in and just walk through them to see, what was the lesson followed through, the instruction followed through, and if you think they would have any value, and just the room just look better.
I was actually going to ask you if you could invite me back,
Sure.
so I could see like a follow-up lesson. I would love to see their final posters. Would you like maybe to see if these trainers, would you like more training, maybe more professional development?
So I'm begging for it.
Or like, and maybe rather than just a session where they actually come in and train, like maybe these trainers that run the workshops could actually come in and see also, and then see how they want things to be, applied, if they're being done correctly, or if they like how it's going.
Yeah, I think any insight and input I'm getting from experienced teachers, administrators, resources that are pushing the learning and pushing the instruction and engagement, especially that population, I'm responding to that stuff. Because I know, I've tried what I think works, but from those quotes that you noted, those would be something that from my AP teaching background would be kind of like a critical lens type of thing. So I'm still kind of breaking out of those habits of my experience with the upper level, high achieving kids, and removing obstacles for learning for English language learners and for students, with autistic children in class. So yeah, I'm learning as I go. So anything that anybody can provide, I'm frantically interested in.
but I mean, like I said, you're very receptive to it, and it is very difficult when you have ELL students,
And even
special
just
ed
having a
students.
co-teacher, I've never taught with a co-teacher, so,
Mhm.
you know, so everything in that class is brand new. So we're, two and a half months, 3 months into, I don't want to say it's an experiment, because the students are not to be experimented on, but it is a test run. It is, this is the school's going to stick with this paradigm of co-teaching and inclusion that we got to get right. These are not just test scores, these are actual humans that are going to be entering the world, and we have to make sure that they're prepared.
Absolutely. Some more professional development, and those are some of
And
the
streamline.
recommendations for, absolutely.
You know what they're going to do. We're going to have a professional development day, but they're going to train everybody the same way. So I do look for professional development that was maybe some kind of survey monkey or get input first. What do you need as an educator? I need personally A, more strategies, and B, time to meet with the co-teacher and plan strategies.
Okay. So more planning time
Yeah.
with the co-teacher,
Mhm.
and maybe when the trainers come in, like you said, specifically rather than just teaching strategies, it can be strategies specifically for
Yeah.
your content
Or have us
area.
have like
English,
breakout groups where we're actually getting time for
your content strategies. So, but like I said, I think it's a huge accomplishment within itself that to be able to keep all different types of learners on track throughout the lesson, even with them struggling with certain words. I thought they were all in task, and they were all really making a good shot at it.
Can't wait to see what
I would love to see the posters, and I would love for you to invite me back and come in the next couple of days or maybe the next week or two.
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much.